All right, hey Larissa. Wanted to do a little update video here. So every day this week, I've had some really good days with Kessie here the last 4 or 5 days. Been able to have a lot of consistency, partly just because of my schedule, and then the weather's been really nice. Um, so she's getting really close to being ready to do first rides on. I think something that I kind of tend to do is I get more strict with the groundwork as I start to think I'm ready to ride them. Because a lot of times I find myself, I'll let the horses get away with a little bit earlier on. And then when I get to a day where I'm like, oh, I might actually get on her today, let me just do a little groundwork and make sure it all works good. I find myself being a whole lot stricter with it because I know I'm about to get in the saddle. And so that's kind of where we've been at this week. I've been holding her to a little higher standard this whole week, and she's doing great. Um, so yesterday, I didn't have my riding boots on. I was just in my tennis shoes, but I stood up in the stirrups on each side and she waited for and bent her head around both ways, waited for licks and shoes before I stepped down. And she did really good with that. So I really feel ready to just go ahead and step on. Um, I just didn't yesterday because I ran out of time and I wasn't in the right shoes and everything. So wore my riding boots today. I'm going to run through the groundwork, talk through with you what I'm working on, and really, I'm not even going to call it working on, I'm going to call it testing to make sure that she's actually safe to get on. And then if I feel like everything's good, I'm going to take her into this pen. I'm just out here because the footing's a little easier on her joints, but I don't have good footing in the pen, so I'm not just running her and running her in the pen. But when I go to ride, I will take her in the pen because I need it fenced. And unfortunately, this isn't fenced. But anyway, I'll move the camera in there and do that if I get to where I feel like I'm ready to do first rides today. So it's all up to her. So I'm gonna run through all the basic stuff. And what I'm looking for is how she reacts to things. I'm going to be pretty strict with it. I'm going to use the flag. I need her to stay connected with me and not blow up and take off and run, things like that. Um, because when I'm under saddle, as long as she can think through things, there's going to be a lot of new experiences under saddle. I can't change that. It just is what it is. Having a human sitting on her back is going to be a very different experience for her. But she needs to be using the thinking part of her brain enough that she doesn't get scared and jump when she realizes something's different. She thinks through it, and stay calm. So this is great. She's facing me, all 4 feet planted on the ground. She's looking at me. Her nostrils are uneven. I don't think she's looked and chewed yet, but she's alert, ready. Um, her head came down just a little bit. I really like where she's at right now. I'm going to go ahead and ask her to walk off. Good. She walks off nice and calmly. She yielded her shoulder very well right there, which I like. She's responding to the lead rope here well. She hasn't hit the end of the lead rope at all. Her ears on me, her eyes on me. There's a lick and a chew. Beautiful. Go ahead and stop her here. And she stopped very easily. Cool. So if I was on her back and I asked her to walk off and she walks like that, I would be very happy with that. If she stops like that, I'd be very happy with that. Okay. I'll ask her to walk the other direction. Excellent. She walks off with some power, but not fear, not running away. This is very good. I'm gonna go ahead and ask her to stop. Okay, I didn't like that quite as much because she didn't step under with her hind end. She thought I was asking her to go there, but I didn't. So I'm gonna put her back. Good. And I'll ask her to stop again. Okay, again, I didn't. If you saw her back feet there, I didn't like that as much. Her back feet kind of stepped together and got stiff like that instead of stepping under like that to stop. But it's okay. I'm not too worried about it. She's still focused on me. She still came to a stop. What I really liked in that little interaction there was she got confused by what I was asking, right? She went to my right, even though I wasn't pointing. I was using my arm, but I wasn't pointing. But when she got confused and I corrected her, she didn't get all flustered and mad about it. She just took the correction and was like, "Oh, okay, that's what she wanted," and then everything was good. I really like that because there's gonna be a lot of confusion when I'm sitting on her back. She's not gonna know when I'm kicking her in the side. She's not gonna know what that means. And I just don't really have a way to prepare her for that. So she's got to be able to work through that confusion and stay calm. And I really liked what I saw right there. Okay, I want to do a little trotting. Good. I like that she walked off there. She's in control of herself. I'm going to go ahead and ask her to trot. Good. She trots off nice and easily. Obviously, she doesn't seem concerned about the saddle or the bridle hanging there or anything. The first day I came out here, it would have been 4 days ago, I think. Um, it was the first day I had the saddle on, the bridle hanging from the saddle horn, and we were working out here in the arena. So it was a lot of changes for her. And I can't remember if I had her trot or lope, but she got scared of that bridle, and she bucked pretty good. And until she got that bridle off the saddle horn, and she shut it down. But um, she definitely wasn't thrilled about it. So that's when I kind of was like, okay, I need to do a little bit more work here. But this is very good. I'm going to go ahead and have her lope. Good. Now, it took quite a bit to get her to lope. I'd like that not to be quite so difficult, but it's also really hard to get that lope, and not just with her. With all my groundwork horses right now, I'm having a really hard time getting them to lope. I think it's because I don't really have a round pen I don't have a place with soft footing that also has a fence where I can take off the lead. So I'm not worrying about it too much. I just wanted to make sure that she would break into that lope and not start bucking or get scared. She just needed to feel that different gait. I'm not planning to lope on her for probably several days minimum. Um, I don't feel like a horse needs to be loped on its first ride. I feel like you need to have the first ride go well. And I feel like a horse should be loped when the walk and the trot are good. So I doubt that I'll get to lope her today from the saddle. And so I'm not too worried about how her loping goes from the ground. I'm going to go ahead and stop her here. But what I am worried about is if something were to spook her and for some reason she took off and got into that lope, I wouldn't want her to get scared just because she's in the lope, compounding on top of whatever freaked her out that made her get scared and lope in the first place. So just kind of want to get her moving, get her blood flowing and everything if I do decide to get on her today. So I'm going to go, that was a right lead lope. I'm going to go ahead and have her do a left lead lope as well. Good, nice controlled trot from the walk there. She didn't burst off into the trot. It was just a nice controlled trot. That's what I want to see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask her to lope. Good. That was a little easier than before. And what I really liked about that one, let me go ahead and let her stop here. What I really liked about that one was the whole time she was speeding up in that trot and trying to find that lope, she never hit the end of the lead rope. I wasn't having to drag her back while I'm driving her forward. And usually I do. Usually with all the horses, I usually do. So I really liked that. She's really starting to respect that lead rope. And that means she was using her brain and thinking going from the trot to the lope, not just reacting to the flag and getting scared. Because then she would run away and I'd be having to hold on to the lead rope. So that was excellent. All right. I'm leading her forward here because she was a little bit stuck when I stopped her there. And I've noticed some horses do this. I think she's one that does. Um, they can get too stuck over there and they won't draw in towards you at all. And so with those, I like to just lead them forward one step at a time. I just put tension in the rope and let them put slack back in the rope. I don't pick up and hold and then hold and hold while they're walking and keep holding tension because then it doesn't give them any release. So, just like this is exactly how I'd load a horse in the trailer that doesn't want to get in the trailer. Pick up some tension, wait for it to take a step forward, and release the tension. Anyway, okay, so her Go and stop is good. All three gaits are good. Um, Now I'm going to put the bridle in her mouth, and I'm going to test all the all the bridle-y kind of things like lateral flexion, vertical flexion. Ooh, that's better too. The other day, usually she hides from that bridle a lot. I think she's really figuring out the game because today she didn't move her head at all. That was really cool right there. All right, and I'm leaving the halter on because when I get into the pen, I'll probably do a little more groundwork with her, or and also sometimes if something goes wrong while I'm riding, I may jump off and do some groundwork. I try not to do that because I don't want them to get the feeling that they can be bad and then I'll get off. Um, that's not really something you want them to figure out. But if I get to a good stopping point and I think there's something I can teach better on the ground, I may jump off and teach her that. And so I like to leave the bridle on or the halter on under the bridle for a little while, but pretty soon it'll be just bridle. Okay, so I'm going to do my lateral flexion. Not too bad. I would like a little more vertical softness there, but it's not too bad at all. Let's try the other side. Good. And there's a nice lick and a chew, and I'm just going to back off and give her a little bit of space. Now she did both sides really good, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up on both reins and get just straight vertical flexion. That wasn't too bad. Ask for a little bit more. Nice. And a little bit more. Nice. And a little bit more. Right about there. Good. And there's another looking at you. Beautiful. I love what I'm seeing. And of course, the weather doesn't hurt today. You know, it's probably 78 degrees. It's almost no wind. It just has a nice, almost a heavy feel. And it's so great for first rides because horses just want to stand still in weather like this. And so I love this kind of weather for first rides. Good. Now look at how when I release my hand there, her head stays there for a long time. She doesn't pop it back to the front. It took me a long time to get her to where she would do that. It's a little bit more twitchy there than I'd like, but there's a lick and a chew, and look how slowly her head comes back to the front. That's what I want. Pick up on both reins. She gets nice and soft. Excellent. Ask for a little bit more. I released a little bit more. Release. A little bit more. Release. Excellent. All right. I'm starting to feel pretty good about getting on her today. So what I'm going to do now is stand up in the stirrup on each side, bend her head both directions. Hopefully wait for a lick and a chew while I'm standing in the stirrup. Yeah, I don't love how her head pops up when I stand up in the stirrup, but I'm not too worried about it with her, honestly. It's already relaxed quite a bit. I can feel her neck and back relaxing right here. I think her neck arched up right there because she's just not used to feeling that weight on her back, and she doesn't quite know how to strengthen her back and carry me yet, but she'll figure that out. All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask her to bend this way. Now that was my mistake. I didn't get short enough on my rein there. There we go. Good, and there's a lick and a chew. I'll go ahead and back off. Excellent. The probably single biggest thing that I want from a horse before I get on for a first ride or any ride is that when I'm sitting in the saddle, I can still bend their head around nice and soft. A lot of times what'll happen is you try to bend their head around and they're scared is what they're, and they're blocking you out, and they just want to fight to get back to the front so they can look forward and not have to think about you back there. And I really don't want to have that be the case when I'm putting a first ride on a horse. Excellent. Go ahead and do the other side. Beautiful. That was awesome. So she had to switch eyes that she's seeing me in, and she's starting to realize that when I'm up there, she's going to see me in both eyes. That's huge. Looking and chewing. She was nice and soft on both sides. Wasn't trying to slam her head back to the front. This probably sounds redundant and unnecessary, but well, maybe it doesn't sound unnecessary, but that you'd be amazed how few horses ever get to this point. That even ones that are ridden all the time. Beautiful. Good girl. Seeing with her in that mind state, I feel super, super confident. Whether I'm standing in the stirrup here, I'm not even holding on to the reins. I'd feel confident swinging on. I'm going to take her to the pen before I actually get on, but she's just nice and loose. She's working with me. She's aware that I'm here. Excellent. Right now, she's looking at them walking over there, but that's fine. Good girl. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera. I'm going to take her into the pen, and I'll do a little bit more groundwork, and then I think I'm going to get on her.